Alicia has been an OnlyFans model for 2 years, building a modest but loyal following. She enjoyed the freedom the platform gave her, as well as the financial independence. Most of her interactions with fans are unconscious enough. Requests for custom photos, compliments, and occasional inappropriate message she ignored. Then there was Ryan. Ryan was polite but persistent. Over the past few months, he messaged her regularly, complimenting her content and hinting at how much he admired her. Recently, he upped the ante, offering her $5,000 for a dinner date. Alicia had brushed it off at first, but when Ryan doubled down, promising to send half up front, she gave it a second thought. Money like that was hard to turn down. "You could pick the restaurant," his message read. "You set the rules." "Alicia, I just want to meet you in person." Against her better judgment, she agreed. The $2,500 deposit hit her account that afternoon. She chose an upscale Italian place downtown, thinking it would keep things professional and public. It felt relatively safe. Alicia arrived early, dressed in a sleek black dress and heels. She chose a table near the window, her heart pounding with unease. Ryan had insisted on anonymity. No photos beforehand, no video calls, just an assurance he was a normal guy. As minutes ticked by, she checked her phone. "I'm having trouble finding the place," Ryan texts. Alicia sighed and sent him the restaurant address again. A moment later, another message popped up. "Can you share your location? It's hard to tell on my GPS." Reluctantly, she complied, tapping a button to send him her location. Within 10 minutes, he walked in. Her stomach dropped. Ryan was nothing like she expected. He was morbidly obese, his body stuffed in clothes that reeked of sweat and mildew. His face was sunken, gums exposed where teeth should have been, and his stingy hair hung limply around his shoulders. His fingernails were long, yellowed, and dirt-caked. "Alicia!" he whizzed, smiling as he lumbered towards her. Forcing a polite smile, she stood up, extending her hand, which he grabbed with both of his clammy hands. The smell hit her like a wave of rotten food and unwashed flesh. "Let's sit," she said quickly, pulling her hand away. Ryan's voice was grating and his breathing was labored between sentences. Throughout the meal, he shoveled food into his mouth, spilling marinara sauce onto his shirt. Alicia could barely eat, forcing herself instead to keep her composure. He asked invasive questions about her work and her personal life, leaning across the table and speaking with his mouth full. Alicia gave short, vague answers, her eyes flickering to the clock every few minutes. When the check came, she excused herself to go to the bathroom, texting him from there. "I need to cut this short, not feeling well." Ryan seemed disappointed, but handed her the second half of the payment when she returned. "Thanks for giving me a chance, Alicia," he said, his tone oddly possessive. She nodded stiffly, grabbing her things and practically running to the car. Relieved to be home, Alicia locked her door and bolted it. She scrubbed off her makeup and changed into pajamas and poured herself a glass of wine. The evening had been awkward, but at least it was over. She flopped onto her couch, scrolling through her phone to decompress. Then she noticed the notification location sharing active. Her heart stopped. She had forgotten to turn it off. Alicia quickly disabled it, but sinking a feeling told her in her stomach. She glanced at her security camera app. The driveway was empty, but something in her gut told her she wasn't safe. Moments later, the porch light flickered. She stared at her phone screen, her hands trembling. Then came a knock. It was soft at first, then louder, more insistent. Alicia froze, her mind racing. "Alicia, it's me, Ryan!" Her blood turned to ice. She crept to the window, peeking through the blinds. Ryan stood there, grinning up at her camera. He held something in his hand, a crowbar. "I know you in there! I know you in there, Alicia!" he called. She backed away, grabbing her phone and dialing 911. Her voice was barely a whisper as she explained the situation to the operator. "He's trying to break in. Please send Send someone quickly. Alicia could hear the sound of metal against wood as Ryan pried at the door. She ran to the kitchen, grabbing the largest knife she could find. The operator stayed online, assuring her help was on the way, but Alicia knew it would take time. The door frame splintered and Ryan forced his way inside. His eyes gleamed with sick, desperate hunger as he spotted her. You shouldn't have rushed our date, he rasped, advancing towards her. Alicia screamed, holding her knife out in front of her. Stay back! Stay back! Ryan lunged and she sliced at him, the blade slicing his arm. He howled in pain but didn't stop, cornering her in the living room. Alicia grabbed the lamp, smashed it over his head. He stumbled but kept coming. Then the sound of sirens filled the air. Ryan froze, his wide eyes darting towards the window. Red and blue lights bathed the walls as officers stormed in, guns drawn. Ryan dropped the crowbar, falling to his knees. They tackled him to the ground, handcuffing him as he screamed, Alicia owed me, officers! She owed me! Collapsed onto the floor, shaking as the police secured the scene. Ryan was arrested and charged with attempted burglary and assault. Further investigation revealed he had a history of stalking and harassment. Alicia moved out of her apartment the following week, installing high-end security systems in her new home. She deleted her OnlyFans account, unwilling to risk another encounter like that. The $5,000 she earned felt like blood money. No amount of cash was worth the terror she endured that night. For months, she had nightmares of Ryan breaking in, his toothless grin hunting her in her sleep.